I own two small businesses, dumpster rental and pressure washing. I'm thinking of starting a third one. What should I start? I think you should focus on one and make a lot of money on one.
Travis, you said looking for recommendations on what y'all use for invoicing, etc., for service businesses. So my home service business personally is House Call Pro.
What's the biggest business risk you've taken that you're glad you did because it changed your life? I'll tell you one for me, buying businesses. I call buying business even buying routes. I was buying routes before I was really buying businesses. That is a great way to grow.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
Blue Collar Millionaires. Today, Chris and I are going to go through some pending posts. We get hundreds a day with a group of 225,000 people. We can't put them all in the group, unfortunately. I mean, we just have 500 posts a day. So we try to pick the best ones in our team, but we're going to kind of run through some today, do quick answers, and hopefully that helps.
Be fun.
It'll be fun. Got one there?
Yeah, I got one here. So, Travis, you said looking for recommendations on what y'all use for invoicing, etc., for service businesses. So, my home service business personally is House Call Pro. That's what we use. We schedule, we dispatch, we invoice, we estimate from that software. And it's got really nice features. It does push notifications for text messaging and emails to the customer. You can turn those off if you've got customers that don't want to receive those messaging. We do commercial and residential, so we do toggle it off and on. What do you guys, y'all just swapped over, Kevin?
We were using Salesforce. It was way more than we needed.
Yeah.
We're using Jobber. Jobber's easy.
Jobber?
Yeah. And then we're in the windshield, we're using a couple other things. The Nimbus for roofing business I got.
Yeah.
I like Jobber. Super easy.
Yeah. So Jobber's very, I've looked into Jobber. It's very equivalent to House Call Pro.
Yeah. I'll give this one. What's the biggest business risk you've taken that you're glad you did because it changed your life? I'll tell you one for me, buying businesses. I call buying business even buying routes. I was buying routes before I was really buying businesses. That is a great way to grow. You would get great deals.
I did my first. I literally woke up the next morning one night when I was in the middle of my first business acquisition. Is $1.5 million. Ended up being just shy of $2 million purchase, but they were asking over $2 million on the purchase. I woke up the next morning and both jaws were swollen from the inside where I was chewing with my molars on my cheeks because of the stress. So I didn't remember a dream, but it was very stressful. And you said risk in this question. So there was a high level of risk and obligation because I've ran businesses. I know how far south they can go, but I also know how far north they can go. And the upside is greater than the downside. But when you have some established money and good things going on in your life and you start to do something for the first time in a big way like that, there is a lot of fear. But the business acquisition was probably one of the biggest levers I've ever been able to pull in my life.
Yeah. Here's one for it. This is so common. I own two small businesses, dumpster rental and pressure washing. I'm thinking of starting a third one. What should I start? I think you should focus on one and make a lot of money on one. Why are you doing a third one?
You're going to take your same inefficiencies, and I did it. That's why I'm saying this. And we probably every entrepreneur that's hitting some success has probably done this. Is you sit here and you think, this over here is a little easier, and so you take the same exact inefficiencies and you move them over to the next one, and you hit that level again. And then when you start hitting that wall, then you start looking for the next thing instead of pushing on past that hurdle and learning that skill set. And that skill set is probably leadership, probably delegation, probably a level of marketing and sales. But if you would just push on through it, you don't need to be able to do 20 things. Bruce Lee says, I fear the guy, not the guy that knows 1,000 kicks and he's practiced each one time. I fear the guy that's practiced that one kick 1,000 times. And we've seen you do it with the gutter cleaning.
Yeah.
We have seen other guys within our network where they just hit a niche and they just ride it up and they just keep blowing through the hurdles and it turns into $multi-million businesses.
Yeah, well, when you look for the next question, I'll tell you what I think. Everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side. They think, oh, they were at dinner, they heard somebody talking about, oh, I'm making millions doing this. First of all, who knows if they are? Second of all, stick with what you're doing. If you are truly in the wrong vehicle, then pivot. You should have pivoted already. But we got a guest coming in here who's killing it in the roofing business, Mark Andrew. If he's told us, hey, I'm doing a pressure washing business, I'm going all in on this for 3 years, that we already know where that would be in 3 years. It's about him, not about the thing.
Yeah.
If he said he was doing tire shops,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
we'd be like, he's going to have 16 of them in Indiana.
Yep.
That's just what he is. So it's more about the operator. That's good news for you guys who are doing well, because when you sell one business and build it up, it's very likely you're going to do it on the other. I'm in year 35. That's what's happening to me now for a lot of years. But when you're young and you're like, oh, just go over here and I'll try this. I think I need an extra 500 over here. You'll try to get 500 over here and you'll lose 500 or more on what you're doing.
This is another one. I got two. Let's look at Olivia and Alexander, but I want to go to Alexander because it piggybacks on what you just did. So he says, I have a roofing company. What's the best way and how to become a builder? How do I find investors or banks to loan money to build apartment complexes, duplexes, etc.? So my question is again, why are you moving from roofing over to builder? And it's because you think the builder is where you're going to get the wealth. But the wealth is built. I did this. I was over here and I had a decently successful business. And then I looked over and I saw people in real estate and I was like, these guys are balling out. Like they're just doing whatever they want. They're going out there pointing their finger and just, knocking the banks over with bats. And then I realized everybody over in the real estate community is looking for business owners that have cash flow to fund the real estate that they're operating. It was just two different operators. You got an operator of a business and you got an operator over here on the real estate side. It's just two different activities, but both of them required operators to make money. One just gets elaborately mystified on social media and everyone gets just starry-eyed thinking, oh, I'm going to go get rich. And what I did is I went over into real estate and I gathered some real estate, but I've made my way back over into business and realized business is the cash machine. So, Alexander, stick with the roofing company. Don't move over into trying to be a builder and the builder of complexes. Yes, money can be made there, but more money can be made in the roofing business if you will learn the skill sets that whatever is stopping you from hitting the ceiling. Now, if you've got a $50 million roofing company, then go sell it and then jump in and you won't even need to pay attention to the banks because they'll be knocking on your door at that point because you'll have enough liquidity sitting there and they will already see that you have made a path of success. And typically when someone's proven themselves in a path of success to that level, they're going to repeat the process because so many skill sets get acquired during that course to the level of success that you might have at a $50 million revenue roofing company.
I got one. This is kind of a weird. I had planned to retire in 9 years with close to $1 million in my 401k. First, I don't think I can retire off $1 million anymore. 2 months ago, my 401k was worth $400,000, all invested in the S&P 500. It's since dropped to $320,000 and continues to decline. I currently contribute $27,000 annually to my 401k. Given this situation, what are the chances of reaching $1 million by retirement?
But just W-2 or they?
He's a
He's got to be W-2.
He just lost 20 over 20%. I'd say it's unlikely, but I don't like relying on a third party to retire me. The S&P 500 is a third party. It can go up, it can go down. If you look at it over a long time, that's why if I wanted to do it, I would. If I said, hey, I got to retire in 5 years and I have no money, I'm gonna go right back to what we always thought. We'll find a business. I'm gonna buy that business. If I don't have cash, I'm gonna bring in somebody like you and I. and I'm going to grow that business. I'm going to make it so good over the next 4 or 5 years. I'm going to exit it, and then I'm going to extract the money, and that's going to be my retirement. But I think that I did this too. When you're young and you're working, you hit this wall like year 5, 7, you're like, this shit's kind of hard.
Yeah.
And you start thinking about, how do I retire early? And that's when people get themselves in trouble. They start doing risky investments. They start doing stuff. They want to get out of the grind. It's a mistake everybody's made. I made some with real estate. That's why I got started leveraging too much. When I look back, it wasn't that I was complaining about working. I was just like, this is kind of a grind. This is every day. I think you just have to accept that and then find better ways to enjoy what you're doing and working. Like, just to retire with $1 million, I mean, this guy's 41 years old, how are you going to do that?
I want you to look for alternative assets. So real estate businesses, first thing I think about, I don't like to invest in anything that I don't have control over or I don't understand. I don't understand the stock market. It's so volatile. Yes, they say, over the course of whatever many years, you get an average of, I think, 6% or 8% return, something like that. But the problem with that is what if you're at the point where it's taken a downhill course and you're needing to start pulling off of that? So I would sit here and say, let's get out of the box and think a little creatively. How can you talk to your employer that you're with and see how you can maybe get some type of profit sharing with your activity if you're high enough skilled there? And if you're not, then work on getting a high enough skill to be able to do that. The other thing is maybe you could take your skill set and go partner with an entrepreneur that's also in an industry. So like if your skill set was accounting, bookkeeping, maybe even working as a CFO for a larger company, then what if you came over and partnered with someone that's been in business for a few years? They've proven a track record. They've proven that they have a level of endurance to push through. The marketplace has a desire for the product or service that they're trying to sell, and then partner with them. And you come in as an equity partner, profit sharing partner. Now you're investing into your future based off your performance and not just trading time for a dollar. The other thing is we had some retirement money, me and my wife, and we threw it over we got into real estate community, mastermind, learned who the operators were that had done several deals successfully. It had been in the market more than just a couple of years. And we threw some money towards them. We get a preferred, we get a preferred return at a certain rate. And then we're also able to get a little small piece of equity so that we can get some depreciation along with that. So find an alternative asset. I'm not a big fan of the stocks. And then preferably bet on yourself and see if you can partner up with someone that has another business and you bring your skill set and you join to grow that business together. And the goal would be take it to an exit. You can take that business to the exit, then you can take a rip, and then you could throw money in multiple different types of interest earning assets.
Good stuff. Maybe we'll do it next week. Go over more questions. So, now, guys, if you guys want to see us, bluecollarmillionaire.net. We have dinners. If you guys want to come to those dinners, DM me in Facebook. Go to bluecollarmillionaire.net. There's a whole page on there. You can get information. You can buy a ticket to those things. We also have Blue Collar Millionaire Elite Group. That's high-end business owners. It's anybody who wants to grow. Chris and I talk about all the things we've done that have made millions of dollars. Not theory, not, hey, I think this might work. You should try this. You did it. We'll show you how to do it. You can implement it. You'll make money too. That's at bluecollarmillionaire.net.